How can Shoyaishida be one of the most simplest but yet realist anime character of all time? The most relatable.
Like they always say, what goes around comes around. I knew I royally screwed up, and I needed to pay for being a jerk. And so, I pushed everyone away.
I remember watching this movie around 2021, but I never grasped the real meaning of A Silent Voice. I knew the themes of it, I got the gist of it, but I never realized how much the movie actually related with me and related with my past. Soon enough after rewatching A Silent Voice, it became my favorite anime of all time. I want to explain and go into depth about my experiences, how I relate to the anime, and kind of a gist and feeling of how I felt about the movie, and really the themes of it, and exploring it. In the beginning of the movie, we see Shoya Ishida give away his money, mark out the dates on the calendar, quit his job, clean out his room completely. Those are all like symptoms of someone that's very suicidal and close to taking out their life. And I related with that so much because I remember when I was the fat 240-pound kid and he thought he was in his final days, he would mark off the calendar towards December 16th. And I remember he would track it on his phone, and then he would give away his Wii U to his friend. He was about to give his 3DS away. He was going to empty his bank account because he had no purpose or drive to live for. Shoya Ishida wanted to, commit suicide because he had all that depression and anxiety inside of him that he didn't know how to cope with. He just wanted to apologize to everyone for what he did and, forgive himself, especially with Shoko. But Shoya and Shoko are haunted by their past shadows. For example, Shoya Ishida in the 6th grade made every attempt in every way to bully Shoko, but now he regrets it later on in life. They specifically bullied her because she didn't fit into the group. That's why Ueno, Kawai, and Shoya's other friends pushed her out as well, then put the blame on Shoya, because he did do a lot, but they tried masking and hiding their mistakes as well. And that costed Shoko's mental health, because she was deaf. With a deaf person, she was trying her best to actually make new friends with the writing and everything, but still got bullied because she didn't simply fit in. I feel like it's always the people that don't fit in that get bullied the most. And this was how I felt in high school. I didn't really fit in with a group of people, or did I ever fit in with my classmates. And everyone would push me aside or bully me or make fun of me based off the way I was dressed, the way my hair was, and how I was the quiet kid that would just sit all the way in the back of the class. No one would try to make eye contact with me or be my friend. And the thing that sucks is Shoya got bullied back. He got pushed inside, the water fountain. And his mom had to pay back all the money, for what he did to her hearing aids. After watching the movie, I realized that a lot of the blame is put on the teacher as well. That teacher guy that was in the beginning of the movie. I blame him actually for a lot of the things that happened because he only called out Shoya when the principal of the school came and talked about it. He didn't report it. He never cared. Even though he literally witnessed it for himself, he never cared or never, had the will to report it, to step into the conflict. And that's a big theme with this movie is sometimes you just can't avoid conflict. And that's how I was growing up. I would always run away and avoid conflict. And relating with my point to the teachers, this is literally how it's portrayed in America society. When I was in high school and I was bullied, my teachers literally did not care at all. No one made an attempt to call. No one made an attempt to even talk to me or help me. Teachers didn't even want to talk to me or help me at all. They even acknowledged that I was getting bullied. 2 teachers even made jokes about it, saying, "Oh, yeah, Robert's gonna get back at y'all one day." That's how it was, man. And it hurt. It internally hurt inside because I wasn't getting any help. And then that's what made me not want to get help. That conditioned me to say, hey, getting help is maybe a bad thing. I just want to avoid conflict with others, so might as well just not get help. With Shoya bullying Shoko, this relates to a memory I had in high school. I remember in high school, I would read out loud, and I was scared of reading out loud in class, bro. And I would always stutter and like talk so quietly, and I had like such an insecurity with speaking up and like trying to speak up. It was so hard for me to just read out loud in the class, and people would make fun of me for that. I remember after I was done reading, then someone else would mock me and be like, with the quiet voice I had, because I was, I had social anxiety. I was scared, of talking in front of the whole class. But I remember after weight loss, I did bully someone back that bullied me. And looking back at it, I do regret it, and it was stupid of me because I was very immature, growing up. And this was when I was like 17. And after high school, when I was 17, 18, going to college, I would make fun of a bully that, he manipulated me and bullied me. So, like, I wanted to get my revenge. But getting your revenge is never the answer, bro. Like, I remember I would make memes and harass them on Discord, but it's like, dude, I'm only just carrying the burden and pain even more. They may have changed. Let them be. Throughout the movie, Shoyaishida had big social isolation issues. He wanted to push himself away from everyone because everyone pushed him away. Even with the scene with him trying to kill himself and then his mom finds out, it's like, dude, like she didn't actually understand what was going on with him and ended up burning the $1,000,000 he worked hard to earn. I remember that scene related with my parents and the way they viewed like my mental health and like how isolated that made me feel because they didn't understand it. They come from a time where that stuff isn't really known or researched. I want to especially talk about Shoya Ishida's social anxiety and the exes that were portrayed throughout the movie. Shoya felt like he was a burden to everyone, and he never felt like he was understood. So everyone was covered with exes because he felt misunderstood and felt like he could never come back as a person from, the bullying he did when he was younger. This was similar to the fat me. I thought no one would ever understand me. And so I isolated myself, which, got me more anxious and stuff because I always felt like others were judging me. I always felt like others never understood me when really no one really has to understand you to that deep level as long as they're a friend. But throughout the movie, when Shoya meets someone, the exes like kind of fall off their face. So in the scene where the bully takes, his friend's bike, the ex falls off the kid's face and him and Shoya build up a relationship together. And then Shoya finally feels like he's worthy of building relationships with others and not being alone anymore. And the same goes with his relationship with Shoko. He felt worthy at times of building their relationship together because he wanted to forgive her and even learn sign language. Shoya Ishida always made excuses to avoid things like conflict. I remember the fat me was just like this growing up. He would always make the excuse not to get out of bed, make the excuse not to see a therapist, make the excuse to not start working out, or to join a club or a sport. He would always make those excuses and isolate himself, or why he should just stay in his room all day long. Having those friends in high school meant the world to me. There were times where I would push away people and even push away my friends, like Shoya did. For example, Shoya wanted to learn sign language to try to reconnect with Shoko, and even made friends with Shoko's little sister on the way, Yuzuru. I never realized how good of a character she actually was because when I rewatched the movie, I kind of forgot about her, but then she grew as a person as well and grew on me. She was trying to understand herself even more. This also relates with Sahara, reuniting with Shoko because Shoya wanted to do everything he can to fulfill Shoko's task and make her happy again because he felt that guilt, that, he wanted that forgiveness with Shoko. And on the way, Shoya also made friends with Kawaii again. And then we have Ueno, or however you say her name. I did not like that character whatsoever. But The thing about her is she was aware of what she did to Shoko, but she just still kept the same beliefs no matter what. After the amusement park scene, I felt like Shoya could finally be accepted again and, make friends and, keep those relationships. Because that's how I felt after I lost weight. I finally felt like, hey, I can really make friends. I can really keep relationships going. But then after the amusement park, that bridge scene was like really touchy because Shoya started to try to get Kawaii to open up to Shoko about, hey, you bully her as well. And Kawaii rejected that, even though she did, like, she technically did, but she never wanted to admit it. I remember during the bridge scene, Shoya was cold and he pushed everyone away. And it felt like those new friends he just made and finally reconnecting, he all let go of it. Even Shoko as well, because he tried to get along with her for so long. But at the same time, he wanted to avoid conflict and push everyone away. Shoya felt like the more he was with Shoko, the more unhappy, he was going to make her. And he felt like he could never fix things. With pushing people away, I felt this in high school. Like after I graduated high school, when I lost weight, I just pushed people away for some reason. I had that like weird way of, if this person doesn't really talk to me anymore, then I'm just going to push them away. Even with family members as well. When one text to that person could have saved our relationship. Just because I was getting into bodybuilding and self-improvement, that didn't mean I had to push everyone away. No. But even with the bridge scene, they do come back at the end of the movie. And having those friends in high school that stuck with me throughout my whole weight loss journey, even though some separated and then came back as well. So having that whole experience with having those group of people that supported you throughout the journey was just really rewarding in itself. Now I want to talk about the fireworks scene. When Shoko tried killing herself, Shoya was very confused and he did everything he can to go and try save her. That quote that he said, "Please God, give me one last ounce of strength. I won't run away anymore." That quote, I don't know if I said that perfectly, but that quote still sends me chills down my spine every single day. Because Shoya promised that he wanted to do the right things for once, and he really wanted to save Shoko's life in that moment. And after, Shoko felt like she was a burden. That's why she wanted to do it. And she felt so guilty for having Shoya to be admitted to the hospital. Even at the scene where they reunited at the bridge, Shoko apologized. And Shoya forgave her, of course. Soon, Shoya reunites with everyone, and he feels accepted again. I remember at the final scenes of the movie in the school festival, we see Shoya in the mirror, trying to practice what to say, and he was really anxious of going in his class and stuff. That's how I was like growing up and trying to be more confident in myself. I would like practice in my head like what to say to people, and stuff like that. Like with Shoya, I remember I never fit in school. I couldn't even look people in the eyes. I couldn't even make eye contact with people. I would just look down like this and just wander around. Even when people were talking to me, I still had my head down all the time. Wouldn't even make eye contact. Would pretend at times to make eye contact because I was afraid of running away from my problems. With the school festival and the final scene, that was the most touching scene of all anime that I've ever watched because Shoya felt like he was finally accepted and all the X's fell off. And he didn't have to be understood, but his social anxiety and all his worries went away at that moment because he had everything he needed in the present moment. He healed his traumas. He forgave himself and he just wanted to love himself again. And he cried out. Overall, A Silent Voice was just a beautiful film. The movie tries to portray that forgiveness is the path to redemption, which in this case, it's true. We will still communicate ways where we still understand each other and forgive each other. A Silent Voice teaches that even with the past, we can still redeem ourselves. Even with all the mistakes I made in the past and being the 240-pound kid, not taking care of myself and getting bullied every day, I can still come back as a far greater person and help others. Even if no one understands you, there are still others out there that are still gonna accept you, bro, for who you are in the inside. And sometimes you do need to forgive those who are truly trying to fix themselves, even with the mistakes that they made back then, like Shoya, how he tried to become friends with Shoko again and create a new relationship. Sometimes too, bullies can grow to become better people. Even when I was bullied and I tried getting my revenge back, I still grew as a better person. Even though it left emotional scars, it healed that trauma. It healed that past experience. But sometimes people that are bullied and have been bullied for a long time like me, you can use that pain and use it towards greater things and a greater meaning. And the movie teaches that mental health is real and should never, ever be disregarded no matter what, no matter, oh, you're always in your feelings and stuff like that. Nah, bro. It's real. Mental health in these environments are always real. Silent Voice is truly a beautiful film. Thank you for watching this video and listening to my story and my experience with the movie and how I related with it.